we are worried in the studio because the last time we witnessed a sports festival in Nigeria was in 2012. That used to be the pride of Nigerian sports, where talents come together, compete, and the spirit of fair play spreads across the country. We're waiting for the 2014 edition. It's not coming. At the moment, Cross River is in the center of all of this. So let's go to Calabar. The Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Asu Okang, is standing by to talk to us. Good evening, Commissioner. Welcome to the show. Hello, Commissioner.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to Sports Tonight. Questions.
Thank you.
And more questions coming out of the 2014 National Sports Festival. Is Cross River State no longer interested in hosting the games? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Commissioner for Youth and Sport in Cross River State, what we're getting are questions and more questions. So let's put this very straight out there. Is Cross River State no longer interested in hosting the National Sports Festival?
We have never said so. Cross River State had already spent so much of money in trying to host that festival. We have remained very focused in that light. As a state, don't forget that so far we have spent considerable amount of money trying to get our facilities up. Therefore, to answer your question straight, Cross River State is still very interested in hosting the National Sports Festival.
Fine. That takes us to the next question. So why are we not having the National Sports Festival?
Well, Austin, you understand very clearly that willingness is not ability. As much as we have tried to keep with our own obligation in terms of hosting the National Sports Festival, the key challenges have remained very obvious to us and staring us in the face that we have not been able to handle. One of it, which is core, is inability to be able to complete our ongoing construction work at different sites. We have 11 sites so far, and out of the 11 sites, only one project has been completed, which is the Titan tracks at the UGS Wellness Sports Stadium. The swimming pool, which was clearly expanded, like we have always said, is a 10-lane pool with MITA pool technology built by Vast International. It's about 80% completion. It is a clearly mechanized pool, and it is about 80% completion as of stake. We also have the Abula Court, the lawn tennis court, and all other core facilities. There are 11 in number to ensure the successful hosting of the National Sports Festival. In February 2015, remember, 16, if you remember, during the Council of Sports meeting hosted in Calabar, the other minister and all other members of the council took time to visit the facilities, which were still under construction at the time. And they actually, upon seeing the volume of work we had done and the level of resources committed to those projects, including the indoor sports hall, they were convinced that Cross River was actually on its way to hosting the National Sports Festival. For instance, the indoor sports hall was valued at about 2.3 billion. We had already paid over 1.3 billion to the contractor. Yes, we had a big hitch there because the contractor, upon assumption of office when I came on board, trying to find out what exactly they did with 1.3 billion, haven't put in that volume of money. And he claimed that part of the money was clearly held down at Oneport.
Oh, so Commissioner, with all this breakdown and the analysis you're giving, one we say Cross River State was actually almost ready to host the National Sports Festival. I want to understand what's the discussion going on between Cross River State government and the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
The problem, or perhaps the level of discussion, is to the extent that when we actually got stuck in preparation for the 8th of November last date, which was agreed by the Council of Sports, that the Sports Festival was to hold on the 8th of November 2016. As we drew closer to that date, what we simply did was that we wrote to the SGF, Office of the SGF, requesting for some degree of assistance through the National Lottery Trust Fund. Unfortunately, at a point where we needed the Honorable Minister's support at the level of the Office of the SGF, when he actually saw the Minister at a point where we actually needed that real support to come for us to get that grant. We didn't really get it, actually. Therefore, the SGF, that request was not granted us by the Office of the SGF, and then we had to turn back. That was where we actually lost that point, where we came to that point where we actually thought that we were going to be able to get the SGF through the National Lottery Trust Fund to assist, but we couldn't really get that, and that was how,
that's actually where we also got stuck. I want to let you go, but before I do, explain real support. You say you didn't get the actual real support from the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Okay, the support. We actually said, look, after done an evaluation of the entire facilities, we needed about 750 million to be able to round up, about 700 million to round up the project. That is outside the indoor sports hall. Because the clear support was that we needed to improvise the indoor sports hall because the volume of money and the issues surrounding the indoor sports hall, it was clear that we weren't going to have that money to be able to add up, to make up, to clean up that indoor sports hall. So we said, look, to replace the indoor sports hall, we're going to use one of the Emporium at Tinapa, which was clearly bigger in size than the indoor sports hall under construction, to improvise for that. But when we tried to get that support from the National Lottery Trust Fund, the SGF had actually called the minister to say, look, Honorable Minister, your people are here across the state, and they are saying they need support in terms of grants, to complete their facilities. What do you think? At that point, we just needed the Honorable Minister to say, look, okay, the SGF, we can do this, help them if you can through the National Lottery Trust Fund and all of that. But it didn't quite come. The response he got from the Honorable Minister at that point, it was not encouraging, and so he had to turn us down.
Okay. Thank you so much, Asok Kang, for making our time to speak to us on the program. We appreciate you for that. Thank you. So Asok Kang is the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Cross River State. And, okay, Alfred, now you... I just wanted to whisper, like there's no more hope.
I told you, it's like a poison chalice. I'm touching it now because of, just like the Commissioner explained there, the huge cost outlay. That kind of money is no longer available. That's the truth of the matter. It's no longer available for that kind of project in a state where people will look at, you look at other indices where you want to take responsibility, health, education, and all other issues, salaries, overhead, and the rest of them, and you want to commit that kind of huge resources to sport. So we're stuck, like you said. Hopefully something will happen. From the comment there, just stop short of saying
at some point, even the tone from the commissioner says, look, we have tried, we're tired of pushing. But Joseph, look at the amount of money is already spent to prepare. I mean, if it's just a little push was taken from that level and get this thing done. Yeah,
as he said, they've not received the requisite, help from the ministry. The ministry has been very, very reluctant in helping them, knowing fully well the implication of project of this nature on the economy of the state. Obviously, at this point, it would require the ministry to take something like a budget to the federal government to offer necessary assistance. And the federal government, as it is now, are highly labored, trying to help state pay salaries. For them to add this one, definitely will almost be an overkill. Quite frankly, it's not easy. The economic situation has almost made this.
When it comes to
overtaken by events
and taking care of budget, sport is always the first victim. Yeah. This one can
let us begin to
let's look at
it's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. But let's stay hopeful. Let's see what can come out of the final discussions. I'm sure the Ministry for Youth and Sports, they are brainstorming. They're thinking of ways that they can just get us out of this. The National Sports Festival cannot die, and we must do all we can to make sure that project keeps going.